Hey, what's up? In this video, I'll be showing you how to fix your Fisher & Paykel dryer, which is not churning properly or making a grinding noise when it's squeaking, grinding noise when it's turning around. And I mean, when it's running, this is squeaking or making a very, very loud noise. I'll be showing you how to fix that. You're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver and a flat screwdriver, maybe a couple of sockets and a ratchet to sort out that problem. Your model might look different to this one, but these principles will apply to most Fisher & Paykel condenser dryers, especially these models. So if you have any questions or you're not too sure about yours, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take the top cover off the dryer first, but first things first, important, always unplug it from your power, otherwise you're gonna get shocked once you start touching things inside the dryer. We're gonna take the top off, we're gonna take off all the side panels, we're gonna take off some pieces and parts on the back of the dryer. So it's a bit of a job, but once you do this, your dryer will be as good as new. On the back of your dryer, what you want to do is you want to take off this whole back panel. There'll be a couple of screws all around here which you'll need to take off. There's probably about 15 or so screws that you take off, and we'll take off this cover and get access to the parts inside here. So we're going to go right ahead and take these screws off. Once you're done taking those screws off, you want to remove this back panel. Maybe a flat screwdriver will just help you to get in there, but it's not usually, it's not that hard up against that. There's just a seal on there. So just get a screwdriver, get in there, and just pry this off. Once you've got that back cover off, you want to take off some screws off this bit. So there'll be 4 screws holding this bit on there. So 1 on each corner. And there'll be another one. Take those off. Just keep everything together with what you took off so you don't forget where it goes. Next thing you're going to remove is your heating element. We're just going to, there's be 2 screws at the bottom. So 1 on here and 1 on the right side. Go like that, and just, that pulls out just like that. Beautiful. Next stage is we want to take off the top cover. So the top cover has 2 screws, 1 on the left and 1 on the right. I'm going to go right ahead and take those off. Just slides out. Beautiful. We want to remove the side panels. So the side panels have pieces, one on the left here and another one on the right here. So we'll take off all the screws on the back and then we'll take off the screws on the top. So there'll be like 5 screws, approximately 5 screws on each end, which you want to take off. To remove these, well, let's take off this side first. So we'll take off the left side first, or in other words, the one that has the power cable, electric cable on it. But before you go ahead and lift it off, at the bottom, there'll be some screws on the left and on the right hand side. You need to remove those screws. So just go ahead and remove those screws. And there'll be another one on the other side. Remove those. To remove this panel, you simply have to lift it up and out, just like that. Just put it somewhere where you won't forget. Well, not forget, but where you will remember the orientation as to which side goes what side. We are halfway there. Next thing we want to do is we want to loosen the motor from the belt and the drum. So what's holding the tension of all this at the moment is a spring down here. So to take off that spring, the easiest way to do it is if you got another spring, grab another spring and just grab it and pull it. Or if you've got a zip tie, grab a zip tie and pull it with a zip tie. I just say be careful when you're pulling these because there's a lot of tension on them. I'm going to make sure that you're not hurting yourself in the process. So just be careful when you are undoing these, because it is under a lot of tension. So you want to make sure you're not hurting yourself. Just like that, comes out. So that's loose now. That belt's loose. So we are almost there. You might want to remove any screws at the top here as well that are just still holding everything together. The next stage is we are going to remove the screws on the right hand of the dryer as well. So these screws and the ones at the top, we're going to remove those and get it out so we can get access and remove this back panel as well. Trick here is to remove any screws that you're seeing holding this thing onto the dryer. You want to just remove them so that you've got easy access and you'll be able to pull this back bit all the way out. Not all the way out, but you just want enough clearance at the front. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So don't forget the screws on the top as well. You want to remove those. Make sure you keep all your screws. While we're doing this, I post a lot of videos on how to repair these dryers. Any areas that come up on it, I usually have a lot of fixes, and so it will be great if you can hit that subscribe button, and then next time something happens to your dryer or your washing machine, you'll have me right there in your inbox. So that's something to think about. Or if you're finding any value in this video, please click that subscribe button, that like button, because it goes a long way to other people being able to discover this content and be able to fix their dryers or their washing machines. So go ahead and click that subscribe button, click that like button. That will help out this channel a lot. Now that you've got those screws out, what you want to do before you start pulling up everything, there's 2 screws at the bottom as well, which you want to take care of. Like on the other side, there was 2 screws at the bottom. You want to remove those. Remember where you put them. Right. And same as the other side, you just lift it out, lift it up and out and put it to the side. We're gonna move in a bit closer so you guys can have a look at what we're trying to do. So with all this, me telling you to remove it and remove all these other things, I'm trying to get us to push this out of the way so that we can remove this wheels. So we want to change the wheels on here. So you can see there's one on this side and one on the right side as well. So these wheels, they're drum wheel, roller wheels. And if you're looking for them, you can punch in your Fisher & Paykel model number. Usually at the back, there'll be a model number starting with DE something. Punching it into eBay or wherever they sell spare parts for dryers and washing machines, and just look for these roller wheels or drum supports on there, and you'll find them, and then you just buy them and you'll be able to put them on here. To be able to put them on here with the least amount of effort, you want to be able to lift this drum so that it's not under any pressure, and you've got enough access here because there's a I think a 15 mil nut that's there that you need to undo, and then you can pull out that roller wheel and put in the new one, and then you'll be good as new. But to do that, we need to lift this drum out of the way. We want it out of the way so you've got better access. So the first thing I do is this panel at the back, this sheet metal panel at the back, you want to be able to just disconnect it from everything else so that it's... Once you've got all the screws out, you can just lift out that panel. It just comes out, the back one. If you pull it out, it just comes out. And this drum, what you want to do with this drum is you just want to lift it up, out of the way. You want to lift it up over the lip and out of the way, because you want as much access at the front there as you can. Don't be scared, you won't break it. Strong enough. So our particular area of interest in this repair is that bit right there. That is what we want to replace. So let's focus on that. We're going to put a new wheel on there. So you're going to go ahead and grab your 13 mil ratchet, or sorry, your 13 mil socket on a ratchet, which will help you to take that off and be able to remove the old faulty roller wheel. So lefty loosey, righty tighty. There you go. Just do it anti-clockwise. Comes out easy. Just take note of how deep in this old one is, because you want to be able to put it right in there, the new one. You don't want to put it, you don't want to not put it in the right way. So if you look at this one, it looks like it was starting to chafe like around here. So I'm replacing that before I start getting any problems. With most of these, you're going to get that problem, but you can easily replace these. And when you're doing them up, you want to make sure you're not doing it up too tight. Otherwise, you're going to put too much preload on a little bearing that sits on there. Of course, you want to check if it's spinning properly. Best way is to just spin it, and if it just keeps spinning on itself, it's good. But if it's lagging, then it means that something's going on, something's wrong with it. Alright. So a 13 socket on a ratchet, or yeah, a socket will do it. I mean, a spanner will do it, but you might be struggling there for a minute. Just gonna turn this around to the other side so you all can see what's going on. All right. So that's the other one right there. Grab our ratchet and undo this one. Ah. Beautiful. And as I said before, while you're at this, grab yourself your vacuum cleaner and give it a nice good vacuum in there to make sure that there's no dust gathering or lint gathering in there that will ruin your dryer. So you've got that. Inspect the new one. Make sure it's all hunky-dory. And you'll be good to go. Once you're done with putting the wheels in, it's now time to put back everything together. Once you've done all your vacuuming and everything, we're gonna put back, first things first, we're gonna make sure that the drum is in all the way nicely and it's nice and secure, that it's sitting nicely and it's not sitting at that angle that it's sitting at the moment. We're gonna take care of that. All right, so we're going to put it back together now. We want to make sure that we're putting our drum on there nicely. So we're going to sort of push it in. And as you're pushing it in, you want to make sure that the front of the drum is lining up with the wheels. So this should go in there and line up with them. So you want to make sure that everything is going in there nice and smooth, that you're not putting it in an awkward way. This side is good. The other side sits like that. Yeah. Looks like it's gonna go in bit more. You want to make sure that everything is sitting nicely. Good thing about this is you've got witness marks all around to let you know everything was. Now it's going to be hard to line it up until you put this back panel back on. So I'm going to go right ahead and reposition this back panel in place. Oof. Just snapped out. So the hardest bit is done. This is just the other bit. So lift it up a bit. You're gonna need to line up the needle here at the back first and make sure that lines up. If that lines up nicely, then you can put it on there. But before I do that, I'm just gonna clean at the back here, make sure there's no fluff or anything else like that. You want to grab your screws and do up the bottom first. So the bottom mounts of the dryer, the screws at the bottom, you want to do those up so that you have a bit of structure to this. And by the bottom I mean these bits, so that they're nice and intact. There'll be grooves in there as well that will show you where everything goes. You want to make sure that you're putting it in there so you've got a bit of structure, and then you can start putting everything back the way it was. So once you've got these screws in, the job, so just start with two, one over here and one just next to the fan there inside, and then move on to the rest of these things. Until you have a bit of structure in it, it will be hard to keep it in one piece. It'll just keep flopping around. So just make sure you try as much as you can to build up the back first, and then you can deal with the other bits. Yep. All right, we are halfway there. Now, before you do anything else, before you put any panels back, we're gonna pre-tension the belt again. We're gonna pre-tension it with our spring. We're gonna get that spring back on this motor. It'll be a bit hard, but we'll do it. So grab your screwdriver. Just be careful because it's under tension. Just hook it back in there, just like that. And if you want to really see that you've put this in nice and proper, this belt will be within the witness marks on the drum where it used to be. But if you haven't put it in properly, it won't be in the same spots, and then it will be spinning on a bit of an angle, and it will be out of sync. But this looks right to me, so I'm going to go ahead and put back my side panels. You're almost done. When you're at this stage, like, there's not much to it now. I'd say you need also like some silicone. We'll do that in a bit because we're going to put back the side pieces first, and then we'll put the back together last. So when you're putting back these side panels, just remember there's two clips at the front, 1, 2. You want to make sure that you sort of put it in there high up first, and of course just put it in the gaps. So this is all like put it in the same way you took it out. And at the top here, you might need to sort of squeeze it in because there's panels here. I'll remove that, put it back in, and it won't close up properly if you haven't lined up all the bits and pieces that are on it. As you can see already there, like there's a gap here just because it's not in at the top there. So I want to be making sure that it's in there, at the bottom there as well. Yeah, that looks good. And then just clip it in there. Beautiful, it's in. And once you've got that done, then you can put in some screws to set it in place, and then line up all the other bits. That way you've got a bit of structure to your dryer, and you won't be grasping at what goes where, what's what. You'll know that it's taking shape. So I'm going to put a couple of screws, just enough to put a bit of structure to this. and we should be good. So if you're getting stuck anywhere along this repair process, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you and help you with your repair. Model numbers might differ, but this repair is the same across most models, if not all. I'm gonna go right ahead and twist this thing around, and I'm gonna put my screws along the side there. That way I know I'm done with this side. Then we can move on to the other side as well. So I'm just gonna put a couple of screws. One thing to note is at the bottom is going into the plastic, so you need the deeper screws, the one with the thicker thread, just in case you've forgotten, because if you put the wrong ones in, they won't hold in properly. So you need the deeper ones for the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing on the left hand side, so go ahead and do that on yours, just remembering where the tabs go and making sure you secure all the bolts, all the nuts, all the screws. Remember to be putting back everything the way you found it. Before we put the back panel on, we want to make sure we grab some waterproof silicone. That will help us to seal this back panel when we put it back there, because the seal that was on there will start leaking once you've pulled it apart. So you want to have a nice steady bead along the edges, then that way this thing will be nice and sealed and you won't have any problems with leaking water. So sometimes when people pull these apart and fix the problem, you create another problem by having a leaky seal. So you want to just be putting this around here, just putting this around, making sure that there's enough in there to go around. Keep all that heat in there. All that heat in there, just cover it in there. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Get some silicone in there. So you can get a tube of silicone for about, say probably $5 or so. It's really cheap, it's not that expensive. Just put it in there. There you go, beautiful. Now that will be ready to just go on back there. And remember to put back all the parts, putting them back where they were. Otherwise, so for instance, you've got to put back this thing, put it on there, because that's going to be for your heat dispersion and everything else like that. So from this point, everything else is really clear. You can just do whatever we did when we took this off. Just do that in reverse and you'll have this back together and you have your dryer working again. And obviously you want to make sure you clean all the surfaces before you put back this cover, the one we just siliconed. That's about it. It's pretty easy. If you get stuck, as always, just reach out in the comment section below and I'll help you out. Put it back, put back all the screws, put the top cover back, and that'll be it. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you on the next one.